looks, throws right side of the end zone, intercepted, and it is intercepted by Rasul, and the Packers get the dagger from the former Arizona Cardinal. Rasul Douglas seals it for Green Bay.
What a game.
Welcome back, 41 North Pod. I'm Trevor. This is Mario. Good thing we did this one tonight instead of last night because we got some breaking news. The Packers have a new long snapper. Moved up the guy from the practice squad.
Interesting move. I mean, obviously, Matt and them are seeing something in that. So I guess I'm going to trust the move. I didn't see any glaring issues with the previous long snapper.
No, but it's interesting. That's a position I don't really watch too closely. You just kind of assume it's going to be there. So
I just look for them not to make mistakes.
So yeah, you trust the coaching staff's decision on that one. They get to watch the guys. And a little more minor news: Packers are without the starting quarterback for at least this game. Not sure how many more games on top of it. Could be more.
Could be more. I mean, there's a very. I mean, I know people. Think that it's just for sure one game. But we do have to remember he has to have consecutive negative tests. And I believe, one of them has to be, he can't even come back to the building until Saturday.
Well, yeah, a little bit of background. Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID. The guy you assumed would be vaccinated and encouraging the rest of the team and being a leader on the team is actually unvaccinated. So that's what makes this more complicated. If he was vaccinated, this would be pretty cut and dry. And
you just need 2 negative tests, and you move on and you go about your business. But because he's unvaxxed, now it's a minimum of 10 days. Could be longer. There's people out there that have tested, positive for, 2 days, 5 days, 14 days, maybe 2 months. So, we just are really in the hands of Aaron Rodgers' body fighting this off and being able to produce some negative tests next Saturday. I'm just concerned, I guess. He can't take his first test until Saturday?
I don't know how that works.
Because I can't imagine that he's taking tests. I don't know. I guess there's a lot of confusion, a lot of questions to be asked. How, why, when, things of that nature.
Starting with how is the most important player in the face of our franchise not vaxxed in the first place? You can call it selfish. I'd call it stupid. And then to not be entirely truthful about it, kind of mislead everybody on it when they ask him if he's vaxxed. And I'm immunized.
I'm going to go with, I'm not a college professor or any English guru or anything of that nature, but the first thing he said after that question was yeah.
Yeah.
They said, "Are you vaccinated?" The first thing he said was yeah.
Well,
that was the very first thing he said after asked, "Are you vaxxed?" It wasn't, "Well, I got this thing that, I think is vaxxed, but the NFL doesn't consider what I got, but I am vaxxed."
I was going to say, keep in mind that this is probably after the NFL told him, no, that doesn't count as a vaccination, that he was saying this.
Yes, 100%. So he knew under NFL protocol, considered to what his job, for somebody that's so concerned about what affects his job, he's unvaxxed according to his employer. So when asked the question by people that want to know about your job, we don't care about your, I'm not going to say we don't care about your off-field stuff, because obviously people do care about his off-field stuff. I necessarily don't give a damn. But when this has effects to your job, you want questions to know about the players that you're bringing in or the players we're keeping because it affects your job at quarterback. When a reporter asks you, "Are you vaxxed?" which has something to correlate with your job, and you answer the question, "Yeah," Everybody's going to think that you are vaccinated. So for you to go on here and not be vaccinated, it feels like you were lying this whole time.
It does feel that way, I think, especially for Packer fans. And the other thing, how complicit is the NFL knowing he was unvaxxed and watching him go through everything. And then also, misleading people in the press conference. There's a back and forth going on between the NFL and Aaron Rodgers and his people about whether this is considered a vax, some alternative, whatever he did, some holistic shit. Now, how does the media not know anything about this? Any of the Packer beat writers not know anything about that back and forth with the NFL or digging in a little bit further?
Well, I think it goes back to what you said with the NFL being complicit in this. Obviously, those emails might have been in the 62,100 emails or whatever that were caught in Washington, but I'm just saying that obviously the NFL is okay with this because they knew he was unvaxxed, and there's no way he wasn't around Davante Adams, but they punished Lazard for it. There's no way. So the NFL 100% knew Aaron Rodgers was breaking these protocols. Well, not necessarily breaking the protocols, but they broke their own protocol, I guess you could say, by not suspending him for being around a player that had caught COVID as him being unvaxxed. And if I was Lazard, I get that, obviously that your team is better off with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. But I would be pissed that they punished me and not him because I guess he's Aaron Rodgers. So,
well, I think this blew up a little bit on the NFL too because, he was the number one talk of the offseason. Aaron Rodgers was like the number one topic for the stupidest reasons. And now the Packers are good, and he's a topic of conversation again. And they show him half the game is the camera focused. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan usually, and I get sick of how much they show the guy.
They've been doing that for 100 years now too.
But they push him as the face of the NFL, and everything's about they get clicks and everything. And then knowing he's unvaxxed this whole time by the NFL, and then it blows up, and now they got to pretend that they're mad about it.
Yeah. No, the NFL is definitely just as to blame as Rodgers. I don't, and you could say I'm a Packer fan, so I'm not blaming the organization, but when the NFL is letting something go on, the Packers aren't the ones necessarily forcing the rules. You know what I'm saying?
They're going to put it on the Packers, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like the NFL is clearly okay with. They probably told the Packers look, we don't really care about. We're going to let Rodgers play, but Lazard, we got to stick to our guns. He broke the rules. He can't play. And if I was Lazard, I'd be filing a grievance for my money back.
And I'm okay with Rodgers being punished for this whole thing. I hope the Packers don't get a bunch of punishment out of this. That's my hope, but we don't know what's going to happen at this point. The same thing with Rodgers. Love the player on the field, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Off the field, I used to love the guy off the field just as much as on, but after this last off season with everything, he ruined a little bit of goodwill with the Packer fans. There were some people ready to boo his ass. And now we're on a roll. He's talking about how much he loves it, and we're having a great year, and gritty team, getting guys back. Haven't hit our stride. We can get better yet. Everything's going great. Top of the world just had a big win last week without a bunch of guys against the only undefeated team in the league. Not even talking about that no more. And so we basically went from, okay, he's building up his goodwill again, feeling good about Rodgers again, back to really this is the leader of our team.
Yeah, and you got to be careful for what you wish for sometimes because Aaron Rodgers, with all the talk of him not wanting to be here, this being his last year in Green Bay, he might have gave his replacement the opportunity the Packers needed to see to move on from Aaron next year. Where if Jordan never plays, they never really know what they got with Jordan. So they're not really quite ready to make that decision. Just like that game in Dallas when Rodgers showed what he had, and it was like, oh, okay, we got something. It makes that decision easier. So Rodgers, as much as he thinks that he might be getting pushed out of Green Bay, he actually might have turned around because he decided not to get the vaccine. He has 2 weeks if he doesn't come back in 2 weeks and if Jordan Love goes bazonks and we win back-to-back weeks with Jordan Love. I mean, they could make that decision easier next year.
And I agree. The percentage Rodgers comes back next year just went down significantly. And then the other thing I'd like this is a pro Gute podcast.
Facts.
Shout out to Gute on everybody hating the Jordan Love pick.
I love it.
Because
Loved it.
you got a dumbass quarterback that's out for not being vaxxed, basically. And now, you're not relying on Benkert or Bortles or some shit like we had with, Hundley and these guys, we used to have.
Yeah.
You got somebody that, we got a first-round talent coming in. The guy that, he could be bad. That's that possibility. But the Packers' track record and Gute's track record on quarterback, the chances are he's not going to be bad.
Yeah.
And so you got that, so you don't feel, horrible this week, Rodgers out. I almost felt worse last week with Davante out. Now this week, it's I've been trying to say that towards the end of McCarthy's era, the Packers needed Rodgers, and everybody could feel that. A Rodgers-less Packers were not a competing team in the NFL. Gute has got our roster stacked enough now that this is almost a team that Rodgers needs. He needs a system like this. He had a rough season a couple years ago. He had a really rough year, or the McCarthy's last year, and now he's been playing great. But you almost got to feel like with the system, they could plug in a person like Jordan Love, and he could do well as well. I
think they could plug in Blake Bortles and do well. I think, granted, we have in my opinion, a lucky matchup next week going into it, because I think the Packers rush for 225 yards against a sorry Kansas City's Chief defense that can't stop a bloody nose. So, Patrick Mahomes isn't playing.
Every good first-round pick has been a home run. Jair, Savage, Rashawn, Stokes, and then Love's the...
That's a good point. Gute's hit on his first-round picks, and even though people, hate on a lot of his first-round picks, nobody was excited about Gary if you read, Packers Twitter.
Facts.
Not that much excitement about Alexander.
Facts.
Alexander is one of the top players in the freaking league.
Yeah.
Gary's emerging to be one of those top players in the league.
Yep. Savage looks good. Real good. He's flying around. You got Stokes looking real good as a rookie. So, to be honest, I'm a big fan of Matt. I love Matt. I love the game plans he puts together, the play calling he makes. And I think we're going to see a big difference this week into an Aaron Rodgers called game Aaron Rodgers Matt called game versus a Matt called game. This isn't going to be much relying on Jordan Love to do. He's still going to have to make his read, but it's not going to be in much of his hands as it is going to be Matt compared to Rodgers.
Yeah, and I think for how much hate LaFleur gets, I shouldn't say hate, just overlooked in national media and all the Coach of the Year talk and all that shit where everybody goes freaking crazy over Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan and McVay, whatever. Come on. And LaFleur's got better records and historical shit, and he's putting up, Lombardi type shit, and nobody talks about him. Now, and then when they do talk about him, well, he's got Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, so did McCarthy in his last year, and look what happened.
Facts.
So this will be more of a shot to show, the Packers are a well-coached team. They lost last week without the best receiver in the league. This week without their starting quarterback. Wait and see what Matt's going to do. Finally, maybe if they get some wins without Rodgers, maybe they'll still find a way to hate on the Packers. Either way.
Yeah, that's what they do. But, it's going to show that Gute built this roster, and everybody that was, thinking that it's all. And for all the other fan bases that talk about they can't wait for Rodgers, the Packers are just going to fall off. Team's about to see that this is a fully loaded roster that, even with our backup, who is going to be a next Hall of Fame quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, is going to show that this is what the fuck we do. The Bears are known for having linebackers. The Packers are known for having quarterbacks. It is what it is, and we got another one waiting in the wings to show them what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, famous last words from a lot of Bears and Vikings fans. Wait till next year, you don't got Rodgers. And we about to find out against the Chiefs
They said that same shit when Favre left.
Exactly.
Oh, wait till Favre's gone. You guys are going to suck then. And then Rodgers came through.
Bears fans are going to be super mad when they see Love is better than their first-round pick from this year.
Facts. Facts. Because I think Justin Fields is a super bust.
Yeah, but fuck the Bears. They still suck.
They still suck.
Obviously talking about the Rodgers bullshit. At the end of the day, I look at it as, he's not. There's a lot of criticism over his career, like, is he a good leader and shit? I was like, that's bullshit. Like, it's like, you look at guys like Herbert that are quiet and, like, lead by example more, and everybody's got different leadership. But this is a failure of fucking leadership. You can see this black and white plain as day.
Yeah, 100%.
This ain't somebody's opinion in a locker room or feeling like, maybe he's not. That's all that bullshit. This is, like, black and white. Like, yeah, dude failed his team and the organization.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if he has to miss 2 games because of this for whatever reason. It's truly sad that, one, he felt that he needed to trick the Green Bay media that, for the most part, don't really bury the guy ever.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not much said about the guy. They stick up for the guy 99.9% of the time, and then they ask you a question about a vaccination, and if you feel strongly about not doing it, I mean, stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is an idiot.
Yeah.
Or at least he's a proud idiot.
Yeah. Can't tell him nothing about what he believes.
Yeah.
He's going to let you know.
He wasn't him-hawing about it.
Yeah. I don't think Carson Wentz was either.
No, and I'm not the type to talk about, like, Aaron Rodgers' girlfriends and shit like that or his family or nothing. But when you see an article about his girlfriend making her own medicines and shit, it's like, that's a red flag for me.
Yeah, that's a super red flag for me. I mean, the guy doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in science. I mean, I don't know what the guy believes in right now. I just pray that this shit doesn't happen if we make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting chapter in our still going to be Super Bowl year. This is just adds to the adversity, adds to the story. When they got the 2 freaking weeks of lead up of all the bullshit to the Super Bowl, this is going to be like, remember when they missed a couple of games at Rodgers and Love came in and it looks like they're never going to fall off now?
Yeah.
And just wait till next week what the talk is if a Jordan Love led team goes into Kansas City and beats the Chiefs, who aren't a very good football team. We've talked about that. Like, they're capable, but they haven't shown it at all this year.
No.
And so, but for whatever reason, the fucking national media and everybody still loves the fucking Chiefs, no matter what they do. And so when the Packers go in and beat them with Jordan Love this week, just wait to hear the talk next week.
I can't wait until Jordan Love is the Super Bowl MVP. Because Rodgers gets COVID the week before. And so this motherfucker
close
out
contact
again.
with a media member.
Yeah, some stupid shit. And then Jordan Love's just out there balling, and then he wins fucking MVP, and then we just fucking move on. And we're just fucking laughing at all these other fans like, damn, dude just stepped in. Kind of like, Nick Foles did, but he just lasts for another 15 years.
Yeah, and you don't feel as bad about, like, whatever, if Rodgers was straight up the whole time, like, I'm on fucking vaxxed,
yeah,
you would hope the rest of the team would be like, dude, come on, like, at least for us.
Right.
But whatever, if he was straight up the whole time, said I'm on fucking vaxxed, and you seen him, wearing masks and following protocol, like, we don't know what he was actually doing in the building and shit. He may have been following protocols, but it doesn't look good over the weekend. You're at a Halloween party fucking dancing to Pooh Shiesty and shit, and around drinking and shit. Like, yeah, it doesn't, not a good look if you're not vaxxed, bud. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because like you said, what if they find out about a close... Well, obviously the NFL didn't give a fuck about their close contact shit for Aaron Rodgers. They just waived that clause. They were like, Aaron, you're good.
And we assume that he likely had close contact with Davante.
I mean, if Lazard did, I would have to assume. Right? I mean, they're fucking best friends.
And I'm hoping nobody else in the team went to Canada for some bullshit and listening to Rodgers or whatever. But I believe the Packers are like high 90s vaccinated. I was disappointed when we weren't one of the 100% teams.
Yeah.
But I'd never expected, like, whatever, Lazard, okay, like, he got some goofy beliefs or some shit, whatever. But the fucking leader of your team, not vaxxed.
After saying he was vaxxed.
Yeah, and a guy you assume, like, I listen to him every week on Pat and shit, like, sounds like a smart dude.
Yeah.
Fucking recommended books and shit, like, all right, cool, yeah, he's a smart guy. Like, he talks like into the universe, and he's an atheist, and obviously, like, got some intellectual curiosity. But then you find out about this shit, like, well, what shit is he actually fucking reading here? Like, so, yeah, we can talk more about how Aaron Rodgers disappointed us yet again. However, I do want to talk about the Chiefs game a little bit. sorry, the Chiefs game, the Cardinals game from last week.
I guess we can talk about that. I mean, it was a good game. We showed, kind of the team that we really are. But it's just hard for me to talk about that game because I'm on to Jordan Love.
And best case scenario, I think, for everybody and the Packers, Jordan Love comes balls out against Kansas City and Rodgers is back for Seattle.
Yeah, best case scenario for me is Jordan Love balls out this week, next week, and Zadarius comes back in 3 weeks. I ain't gonna lie. If we could get Zadarius, Jair back, I mean, we're gonna be looking like we hit free agent the end of the fucking trade deadline hard.
Thank you for bringing that shit up. Fucking Packer fans, every single year.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to trade for this guy, that guy. Who's available? Who's a 30-year-old fucking receiver that's not doing shit on your team? Yeah, come here. We need you. You're going to get us a fucking Super Bowl.
Facts.
So how many times does fucking Gute have to, not go out and reach for some guy that everybody thinks we need to have? That guy go to some other fucking team and get either overpaid or underproduce.
Or get hurt.
And we get some fucking no-name that ends up being more productive and better than the guy everybody wanted, and yet nobody learns the fucking lesson ever. They repeat the same thing. God damn it, Gute, you didn't go out and get OBJ. We suck again. We're not all in. We don't want a Super Bowl. For some fucking reason, we need to draft receivers, trade for receivers, even though we were wondering, where the fuck Randall Cobb's going to even fit on this team because our receiver room was so deep at the beginning. But yet we still need fucking receivers every time. So, Packer fans, learn your goddamn lesson. Gute, trust him. I mean, how many times does he need to show you before you just oh, okay, yeah, I think he's got this.
Yeah. I mean, Gute just proves and proves over and over again why he has the job that he has. I mean, you have to remember, we're the Packer organization where we create GMs. We literally create them for other organizations that have gone on to win Super Bowls. They've literally took our guys and put them as GM, and they've gone on to win Super Bowls. So you have to understand that they picked him for a reason and passed on a lot of guys that could have done probably a good job, but they knew Gute was the man for the job, and he has succeeded over and over again. Packer fans continue to not have any respect or any faith in the guy that got them on a 7-1 team and just beat an 8-0 team with wide receivers that probably half of the fucking Packer fans don't know who they are.
I don't know how much more he's got to do to get some appreciation, or just Packer fans just enjoy being miserable. I think
that's part of it. That's a good point. I mean, we think, you talk to most Packer fans, we're 7-1. And if you went and talked to somebody from Green Bay, a diehard Packer fan from that area, good accent, all that type of shit, they're going to tell you would think this team is 1-7.
Yeah, defense still sucks.
Yep. Special teams, horrible. I don't know what the coach is doing. Aaron Rodgers just out. Now he's out. Now we're fucked. A.J. Dillon fumbling. Jesus. So, yeah, that's typical Packer fans. They want, they want everybody to be like the Chiefs. A team that kind of sucks, but, if they were on your fantasy team, they kind of, look good. You go, man, I got Kelsey, I got fucking Mahomes, I got fucking Tyreek Hill, but they're not winning games like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes a whole fucking team. It takes guys in the trenches, it takes cornerbacks, it takes everybody. And what Gute has done is built a fabulous 52-man roster. 53-man roster. Fabulous. I mean, even practice squad. Fucking call it whatever the fuck it is. 70. Whatever the fuck. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Because, you're going to rely on those guys more, especially with COVID. And that brings up that we did lose 2 guys in the win to the Cardinals for the season. 2 guys for the season. So I've mentioned a bunch of times, just as important getting out of there with W's is keeping your guys healthy. And their major blows, everybody talks about Tonyan. I'm not as worried about replacing his production. He's the bigger name. But LaFleur talked about it's going to be hard to replace Kylin Hill. And he doesn't get a bunch of carries and get the ball a bunch, so the average fan may not give a shit much about who cares, their third-string running back. But what he brings to special teams, what he obviously probably brings to practice, knowing that if, worst case in one of our other running backs, still got a 2-person punch that he was looking good. Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be tough to replace him. So, I mean, that was rough coming out of that game, but it's such a good win that, you kind of like, well, shit, but, it is what it is.
I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't be mad if Aaron Rodgers was out 3 weeks and we beat the brakes out of the Vikings with Jordan Love. I mean, that would be a great feeling.
Well, they're gonna send enough of a message, I think, to the NFL this week.
Well, fuck it, just keep it going. I mean, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is out here just fucking got ginger boiling on his stove, sniffing it, and taking key lime shots or whatever the fuck he's doing.
Vitamin B, B12, or whatever the fuck hippie shit they're doing out there.
Yeah, probably some CBD.
Yeah, it sounds like the guy. From my secondhand research, I never got into the harder drugs, but he definitely sounds like a guy that fucking has dropped some acid or did some ayahuasca over the offseason.
Facts.
Where he found himself and
he
mental
grew his
clarity
hair out.
And shit. Yeah.
He'd be rocking the man buns, and then his guy got punched upside the head in Hawaii.
Was in Hawaii where everybody has these stupid spiritual shits go on. Like, yeah, I'm rich and I got to go to Hawaii.
The guy believes in UFOs, holistic shit.
I believe in UFOs. I don't believe in God.
But I'm saying, he doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe
I do believe in science, however.
He doesn't believe in science. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's all over the fucking board.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here and talk about fucking Rodgers, but I wanted to mention another thing about last week's game. I thought what really encapsulated the game to me was the first touchdown drive when first Dillon was stopped like 3 yards on 4th down behind the first down marker and just willed himself, like drove through guys to get the first down. And then the same thing on the goal line with Aaron Jones. Got stopped a couple yards behind the goal line and just fucking drove his way.
Yeah, we don't need Aaron Rodgers for that. Fuck him.
I mean, they really showed to me, like, okay, we're here to play on that drive there.
You think they did that last week? Wait until they know they got J Love out there. How fucking hard they're going to be going extra. How much more they're going to want to get it.
And that last one, it technically came down to one play, and Cardinals fans are quick to point that out and shit. But I'm not as worried about that game. Like, if it was a close game back and forth, and last team with the ball, or we just got in some lucky shit, like I would say the Bengals game was more that line. Where this one, I felt the final score didn't indicate how much dominant the Packers were.
Yes, that and we got screwed on that review because I don't give a fuck when anybody says that. I couldn't see where the football was.
Yeah.
They said that was a touchdown on the field. I don't know how there's 100% conclusive evidence that ball did not cross the fucking line.
Well, I think, and it was a perfect example of a ball don't lie situation at the end.
Facts. Yeah, facts. And I just seen a clip of them talking shit about my guy Raul the whole game. And you seen what he did.
Ended it.
Ended that shit. Walk off. Bye-bye.
So that was good to see from him, like a guy that was on the Cardinals practice squad, just joined the Packers. And another example, Gute brought in 3 or 4 backup type players and shit this year, and it's looking like he's hitting on a couple of them. So
yeah, I mean, we did just have to let Jalen Smith go. He did look lost as fuck out there.
Merciless though.
Merciless looking real good. Douglas looking real good. I mean, I'm happy with what we got. We get Kevin King back this week. I know a lot of Packer fans don't like that, but I like that. I think that adds to the team. Doesn't hurt it.
I agree. He's been known to give a big player here and there, but he also is a reliable corner. People don't like to fucking hear it. Yeah. Packer fans especially. There's a lot of teams out there that would love to have Kevin King on their team, Packer fans. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he will be signing a contract next year. I can guarantee that. He's not going to be out the league.
Oh, no, I was saying, maybe not with the Packers.
No, I'm not saying with us. I'm saying, like, in the NFL, he's going to sign a contract, and he will be playing in the NFL next year.
There is people scraping the bottom of the barrel for serviceable corners in the league, and he's more than a serviceable corner.
100%.
MVS coming back, if it's going to be a hell of a conversation if Love hits him on a couple deep passes.
No, he will win. There's going to be conversations when he hits those passes that Rodgers hasn't necessarily been connecting on this year.
Correct. Rodgers has played good this year, don't get me wrong. the red zone inefficiencies that we've had and the deep balls are basically his knocks this year.
Yeah.
And so find out if the Packers go perfect in the red zone this week and Love is out there hitting deep balls.
Well, I think it might just really show you. I think Packer fans are going to be real surprised this week how much kind of different this game is, like the way that the game's called, because it's not going to be reliant on Aaron to make the decisions. Like we've already said, it's going to be more Matt's flow of the game, and I think personally, Aaron runs Matt's system, but it's just a lot more flexibility within it with Aaron.
Yeah, he puts a play in and then he's got full trust to Aaron, whether he changes it, whether he likes it, or all that kind of stuff that you give a quarterback that's been in the league as long as him. And
Matt's going to be coaching more on offense this week.
Yeah, there'll be less of that flexibility. I mean, I assume they'd still give Love I assume they give him damn near like you can do it, but he's not going to. Just haven't been in the league as long, and he's going to rely more on that.
Like he'll be making checks here and there, but it's not going to be. He's going to trust Matt a lot more than Aaron is going to trust himself. Not saying that he doesn't trust Matt, but he also trusts his knowledge of the game and what play to call versus what.
And you're not going to go wrong this week just giving the ball to Dillon or Jones. And that's another thing. Another draft pick that people talk shit about was Dillon, that you don't hear those people much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much a lot of Gute's picks. You hear chirping at the beginning, and then they kind of fade away, and they're like, oh. 2-3
years, what they always say, like, that's the time you need to evaluate these picks. Magically, 2 to 3 years after he picks these guys, we're not talking shit about them no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit talking the first year when it's hard to evaluate somebody or they don't see the field a lot or whatever the case may be. I've always been, you don't draft for need in the draft, you draft best available because you don't know what your need's going to be halfway into the year. It could change completely.
Facts. I mean, you see what happened last week with wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Granted, we don't, I probably shouldn't have said that because Packer fans will get riled up. Like, yeah, that's what I'm fucking saying. We should have been took more receivers. Because they're always hell-bent on wide receivers. But you never know what, and if you're a real Packer fan and really know what's going on, you know that our wide receiver room is great. But that's why I'm saying, like, you can't count on necessarily need because that wasn't a need. But if there's a guy available, it would have been nice to have because we had 3 guys out.
I would use the example of the tight end room. Going into the season, there was no room for Sternberger. We had a whole bunch of guys. And so now, we got Tonyan goes down. We're just getting Davante. So for a while there, it's like, well, shit, we're getting thin. So if we would have drafted a tight end, it's like, what the hell are we doing? We got enough. And then halfway into the year, like, oh, shit. Like, good thing this guy, we need this guy.
Yeah. 100%.
So don't ever, like, oh, we need this position. Why did we take this one? Get that shit out of your minds. Like, how many teams in the NFL would just completely fold, and Packers were one of them, as a couple years ago, just completely fold without their franchise quarterback?
Yeah, and we're not. Fans are going to
most
see
of the teams.
Yeah, then they're going to see that we're not. We're built. This is a Super Bowl team, and we're showing it, and we're going to keep showing it.
It was a weird week in the NFL last week. On Sunday with the amount of backup quarterbacks that did come in and look decent.
Yeah.
And so that's going to continue into this week, just so everybody knows. The next one they're going to be talking about is going to be Jordan Love.
J Love, baby. J. Love. Fuck that. You better call him J. Love.
And it's not like a team where we just drafted a high-round pick and then another guy's coming in. Jordan Love is a high-round pick. Jordan Love is a high-round pick. Aaron Rodgers was a first-round pick. On his, say what you want about the guy, like, he was... people nearly wrote him off a couple years ago. He's had a couple strong years now, but he's not going to be here forever. So to have that guy is a fucking luxury backing him up. And
having him get meaningful snaps, you know what I'm saying, is going to be huge in a tough environment. It's going to show a lot of character and show what the kid really has.
It's different to evaluate a guy in the preseason or in practice as opposed to a regular season game on the road. Getting thrust in there a little bit after, coming in to the shadow of like the fucking face of the NFL, yeah.
325 prime time. It's going to be on most of the country. You know what I'm saying? Packers, Chiefs. It's the game everybody wants to watch, you know. And now people are going to be tuning in to see what this, you know, Jordan Love pick, because it's been so fucking scrutinized this whole fucking time anyway.
I think it's going to be a good week for Packer fans despite all the news coming out. Oh, shit, we didn't trade for nobody at the deadline. Rodgers is out. I mean, again, you seen how we reacted last week when everybody wrote the Packers off. And I think you're going to see a lot of the same shit this week with circle the wagons, do the things we know we can do good.
I got score 32-14 Packers. I mean, I see a lot of pressure on your boy Mahomes, and I see Jordan Love doing what he needs to do. Nothing crazy. Maybe 225 yards, 3 touchdowns, something like that, just because we throw around the goal line. But other than that, I look for about 225 yards on the ground. A heavy dose of Dillon and fucking Jones and shit. Maybe even some J Love running. Who knows?
I look forward to seeing what tight end's really going to step up. Because
Big Dog. I mean, that's no brainer.
Well, yeah, Big Dog, but you know he usually doesn't get a whole lot of passes. Tonyan was kind of that passing guy. I think you're going to see more of DeGuara or Daphne. Depending on really.
Big Dog been catching the rock.
Well, yeah, I agree, but it'd be interesting more to see because there's those guys that Rodgers got a connection with. It's going to be interesting to see who Jordan Love has those connections with from practicing.
Whoever's open, whoever Matt draws open
from practicing with and shit like that. Because it very well be dude has a connection with Daphne or something, or
Malik Taylor in the preseason.
Or Malik Taylor, yeah, Winfrey.
And I think it's going to be whoever's open. Because my guy Matt's just going to be drawing up fucking gems. And we're going to be running it so much where our play action is going to be so fucking crazy.
But there is something to that guy you trust. You seen that last week with Cobb when Rodgers would kind of look his way whenever we got to the goal line and stuff last week. There's going to be...
I mean, he got his big dogs back this week. J Love going to have the big dogs out there this week.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not love throwing the ball to Davante Adams?
Shit, MVS, Lazard, fucking all of them. And Jones out the backfield. Like motherfuckers better sit back, relax. A lot of Packer haters are going to be very upset by what they see within Jordan Love.
I mean,
it's going to be great.
Belichick and Brady made a dynasty off checkdowns. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not worried about Matt LaFleur's offense at all.
Yeah. We just got to... The only thing that I think I have a concern about, but I'm not too concerned, is I just hope Jordan Love isn't out there trying to play hero ball. But I don't think the way... I think the Chiefs are the perfect matchup because their defense is horrible. And we're going to be able to run the ball.
And the thing I look for, especially a younger quarterback, is just that feel, that presence. Like, the good quarterbacks have almost that sixth sense where they can kind of feel stuff or know where to go at the right time or when to escape the pocket. You can kind of see that real early in a lot of quarterbacks' career, like, oh, they ain't got it. Or they ain't got those eyes in the back of the head like the greats. That's kind of be what I'm looking for in Love. I don't expect him to go out there and just connecting on everything right away.
I do. Well, see, for me, it's not... The reason I do, though, is simply because I think that's how the game plan is going to be. I don't think the game plan is going to be asking him to do a lot. So I think he's going to... I wouldn't be surprised if he completes his first 8 passes, but they're not going to be like these super hard passes. There's going to be a lot of check downs, a lot of fucking screens, shit like that, where they get the ball out of his hands quick and he gets in a rhythm.
And the Chiefs linebackers are garbage.
Their whole defense is garbage besides fucking Matthews and fucking maybe like a guy on the line or something.
Chris Jones.
Yeah. Other than that, they're trash. Like, I can't even name a corner. Who's one of their corners? Besides that guy that everybody's talking about that sucks.
Rashad Breeland, is his place for him yet?
I don't think so. I don't know any of their corners.
But you gotta expect their linebackers are gonna have a tough time covering Jones and shit out of the backfield.
I think it's gonna be another blowout. And I think people are gonna be very surprised. And I think Aaron ain't doing shit but punching his passport out of fucking town.
You got to wonder how much Aaron knew and how much the whole Jordan Love situation played into his bullshit this offseason. And so it's good. it's gonna be a little bit satisfying if when Jordan Love comes out and balls out, thinking about like Aaron Rodgers watching this shit, just knowing like fuck, like my replacement's showing like he's got it. Yeah.
I just want to say one thing to end the podcast. People, get vaxxed. Listen to your doctors. Listen to the scientists. Don't let fools like Aaron Rodgers that play football for a living try to persuade you in any direction to not get vaxxed and do what's right for yourself and also every other human being on this planet. So do what you have to do. It's real easy to go get vaxxed. You can go to your Walgreens, your CVS, anything like that, Walmart, places like that all have vaccinations. Go do what's right. Trust the doctors, trust the scientists, and let's not be stupid people.
You're asked very little to participate in our society. You're asked very little as a citizen for living here. You're not required to join the military. You're not required anything else. They ask that you vote, which, probably you should. But, this is one of those times when it's like, hey, we all, no matter how much you may disagree or not like it, we all depend on each other. We're all connected. And so if this is the one thing they ask you to do, like, hey, this would help public health, and straight up, if you don't, like, you're being selfish.
Yeah.
So, the one thing you could do to help everybody right now, everybody talked right away when the pandemic hit and everybody was locked down, like, man, if we can just get a vax and get back to normal.
Facts.
We have the opportunity now. Take it. So, yeah, that's I agree with your sentiment 100%, your message. With that, go Pack go. It's going to be fun watching Jordan Love this week. The universe, Aaron Rodgers, atheist, the universe gave us this opportunity this week for Jordan Love to shine. So let's take it and run with it.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of the Chiefs. Maybe finally the national media will realize, oh, hey, the Packers are good and the Chiefs suck.
Yeah.
And that could be,
That'd make me happy, I guess.
you're going to hear a very different tone, I think, out of everything next week. And so I'm looking forward. Hopefully y'all join us again next week for another Packer pod. Like I said, this would have been a much different episode if we did this last night.
Yeah.
The world changed a lot in one day. So who knows what next week's going to bring after the Jordan Love coming out party. So hope you all join us again on this road to the ship. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go. Stay healthy. Stay safe. 41, bitch!
I don't think Rodgers will be back next week. Mario, you think people can get COVID for like a month? He gonna get himself right for the Seahawks. It's gonna be, the NFL is gonna have Rodgers and Russell back for that game.
Yeah, he's gonna cheat if he has to. Then he will be fucking getting a fake vax card and shit.
Every time we play these motherfuckers, Rodgers and Mahomes is out.
That's what I said. Rodgers really don't.
4 times.
Rodgers really don't want to face Mahomes.
They're making a big deal like if the State Farm guy is gonna be there and shit. Like,
I'm surprised State Farm didn't fucking write in a clause in their contract or something. Dude been talking to Favre too much. Favre got me interested in some new kind of concepts. I really dig this down south lifestyle. He's like a different... Favre was like down south country bumpkin dumb, and Rodgers is like California elite hippie dumb.
uh-huh.